Hello beautiful person, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chu and today we're going to be going over how you can make TOLIVER type beats from scratch using FL Studio stock plugins only. Today we'll be emulating the production of Wonder Girl, Frank Dukes, and Chu Beats on Don's album Heaven or Hell. You'll learn how to make melodies like this, and program drums like this. We have a lot to cover, so let's just jump right in, shall we? Shout out to the comment winner, comment below to be featured in the next video. I have a gift for you, my 14 drum kit, and you can check that out in the description box below. Join my private treehouse group. First of all, you'll get the FLP to this tutorial and all my other tutorials. We also do weekly private beat making sessions based on what you asked for, and we do weekly in-depth beat critiques and Q&A sessions. There's also a whole bunch of other dope stuff like collab giveaways and just an overall nice camaraderie. There's a link in the description below if you want to check that out. Yo, and please drop a like on this video as it greatly helps my channel against the YouTube algorithm. And as you do, I wish you a wonderful learning experience. God bless you and enjoy. So we have to start by making a really dope sample. Something you have to understand right off the bat is that Wonder Girl rarely makes her own melodies. She usually samples work from dope creators like Chu Beats or Jing, who's formerly known as Frank Dukes. So in addition to learning how to flip a dope sample and program insane drums around it like Wonder Girl, we also have to learn how to make incredible melodies like Frank Dukes. So this is really a 2-in-1 tutorial in a way. Okay, so the key things to focus on when trying to emulate Frank Dukes are simplicity and texture. We'll talk more about why these are important as we make our melody, so let's just jump into it right now. So I began this beat by looking for a dope sound in Flex, which is FL Studio's native super synth. I eventually landed on this blue accordion patch, which sounded amazing. From here, I started to lay down my bass melody. Once I had something that sounded solid, I brought it into the mixer track and then solo routed it to a bus which I would use to add tape emulation effects. I did this because I wanted the end product sample to have a vintage texture to it. There's that word, texture. Oh, and I did this using a bus so that all the sounds that I would end up using would have these same effects on them. This is related to a production and engineering concept called signal flow, and if you want to learn more about that, consider joining the treehouse where we have a full masterclass covering this topic. Link in the description below. So for this tape emulation bus, I added this fruity flanges, this vintage chorus, and this fruity delay. Then I went back to working on my melody. I already had some basic minor chords going, and now I wanted to add some emotion. Something I did to add even more vintage texture to my melody is mess with the channel pitch settings in the piano roll. This allowed me to add subtle pitch bends to the chords. Recently, I've been doing this more to the melodies I create, and it's been surprisingly effective at making things sound, for serious lack of a better term, more Frank Dukes-esque. Once I had this first melody sounding the way I wanted, I went back into Flex looking for a patch to layer it with in order to add more texture. There's that word again, texture. And notice how we're talking about texture and not really melody. This is the key to Frank Duke's style of creation. It's less about different melodies and counter melodies and more about the feeling that all the sounds combine to create. After some searching, I found this haunting hour patch and used it to create an accompaniment to the main melody that filled in the space. I put this in its own mixer track and then routed it to the tape emulator bus. Then, to add a layer of texture to the chords, I opened up this life droplet patch from Flex and copied over the progression. And I similarly routed this through the mixer into my tape emulation bus. Next, I made this lead melody with the nasal charge patch from Flex. But I did eventually change the patch to this Earth Space sound font instead, which just matched the vibe way more. Then I tweaked the melody a bit more to improve its call and response effect. I did feel like this sounded a bit too much like a lead melody that sticks out. Something I noticed about Frank Duke's work is that he really doesn't create like lead melodies. Again, the thing that makes his music sound amazing and what makes producers like Wonder Girl want to sample him is his ability to develop textures. So to transform this lead melody into a texture, I added this halftime effect using Gross Beat. And then, same as everything else, I routed it into the tape emulator. This is when I really started to feel like I was getting somewhere with the melody, but I still felt like it could have more emotion and even more texture. So I started making this piano chord progression to go behind everything. Then I changed the preset from FL keys to this Steinway piano patch that I found in Flex. Okay, now I was really feeling it. So I took this piano melody and exported it and then reversed it and chopped it up. And for that one guy saying that you can just reverse the MIDI in the piano roll, please shut the f up. Like, I enjoy doing it this way and I'm pretty sure the piano roll can't arrange it into unique sequences the way I do every single time. Wow, I really needed to get that off my chest. Anyway, once I had all of this done, I got to work arranging my sample. Oh, and I added a few more effects too, like a frequency splitter on the reversed piano melody so that I could keep it from clashing in the same places as the other main melodies. I really wanted the piano to be more felt than heard, just subtly adding that emotional progression in the background. And then I added this halftime effect from Gross Beat to the blue accordion melody. I turned down the mix a bunch and used this to add low-end texture to the melody. There's that word again. texture. Are you getting it yet, or am I just beating a dead horse? Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, then I added this gating effects to the tape emulation bus and turned down the mix. I used this to further simulate a reduced fidelity in the sample to kind of make it seem like it was cutting in and out of like a really old radio or something like that. I added this fruity love filter to cut out some of the highest frequencies from the overall melody. And lastly, I added this sidechain effects from gross beat to the earth space melody. Remember, this was the one that started out as a lead melody. I did this to further decrease its presence and make it more felt than heard. I wanted it to seem like it was barely there. Okay, so now I was done with actually making my melody. Well, almost. There was one more thing I had to do to really give it that Frank Dukes vibe. I exported the melody in full and then opened it up in Edison so I could reduce the sample rate. This is just a really cool way of reducing the fidelity of your sample even more, and it is a wonderful technique for removing the high frequencies in your sample, getting none of that strange corniness that seems to happen when you do the same thing with an equalizer. I made a whole tutorial covering this topic, and you can check that out here if you're interested. So once I found a sample rate that sounded good, I re-exported my melody, pitched it down, and then normalized it. And now I was finally ready to lay down my creative Wonder Girl style drums. So every drum sample I'm going to use in this tutorial can be found in my centerfold drum kit. If you don't already have that for some reason, there will be a link in the description below where you can access that. So things began simple enough. I laid down this clap. And that's pretty much where the simplicity ended. In this beat, I laid down 3 different hi-hat patterns. This is something I've heard a lot in Wonder Girl's production lately, and I think No Idea by Don Toliver on Heaven or Hell is an excellent demonstration of this. I started with this hi-hat, and it was really just for bounce. I was beatboxing in my head, and this helped finish out the drum bounce that I was hearing in my mind. P.S. Beatboxing out loud is like a really good way to design drum patterns. Then I added this next hi-hat. This one was more for adding stutters and just an overall trippy, psychedelic vibe to the pattern. And lastly, I added this hi-hat, which does just a basic 2-step pattern. This was for pace and energy. Next, I added this snare. I put it in pretty non-traditional areas for trap beats because Wonder Girl seems to do the same thing. Actually, a lot of her drums are just in weird places, and I really think that's how she gets her bounce to sound so unique. Something else I've noticed about her production is that sometimes the snares do double hits, triple hits, and even stutters while changing pitch. For a long time, I thought she did this manually in the piano roll or by adding many different snare samples in succession. And I mean, I'm sure she does do that sometimes. But while I was researching for this video, it dawned on me that she actually is doing this by adding delay to her snares. I learned this from watching her break down Uptown, which she produced for Travis Scott and A$AP Ferg on Owl Pharaoh. All of the things I just listed, from double hits to pitch modulation, can be done with delay. That's a whole tutorial on its own, own, but this really shows that Wonder Girl is more than just a basic trap producer, if you didn't already know that. Like, she really knows what she's doing to the extent that she's damn near a sound designer or an engineer. So to get something sort of similar in my beat, I made a copy of this snare and had the duplicate hit in the same place. But I routed each snare to a different track in the mixer. For the duplicate snare, I added this delay that would make it do a triple hit and ping pong from left to right. And then I used an automation clip to keep this under control and so that the delay wouldn't ring off forever. Next, I laid down this accent snare pattern. I see a lot of producers saying to pick your spots and be more minimal when you're placing the bounce snares, and I know producers like OZ and Metro Boomin tend to do things like that, but I don't really hear the same type of restraint in Wonder Girl production. And I get it, the purpose is to create bounce, so having many of these bounce snares can be a great way to add rhythm and energy to your beat. And her beats are all about rhythm and energy. And it doesn't even have to be like a complicated concept. Like on No Idea, she literally has the bounce snare hitting in every possible spot, like I have it right here. And just like I programmed it here, she only used one snare sample to do this in No Idea. I can hear her doing this type of programming all over Heaven and Hell, and I feel like this is one of the coolest parts of the development of her new style. Okay, so next I programmed this open hat. And I also added this hi-hat roll sample too. Then I got to work laying down my 808. And this is when I realized that I needed to increase my tempo from 140 to 150 BPM. Once I did that, I went ahead and finished up my 808 pattern. Then I laid down the trusty old centerfold kick. At some point during the process, I just realized that the Spins 808 wasn't Wonder Girl enough for me. So I went back to the centerfold drum kit and grabbed this Boy Wonder 808, which is just my own edit of the Ready 808, a sample that is commonly used by Wonder Girl and other producers like Eastbound, Six, and Boy Wonder. Then I just mixed everything down a bit so that the drum samples would fit together with the melody. Okay, so I know I've already said this like 5 times in this tutorial, but like this is where I really started to have fun with the beat. So I also wanted to capture some of that creativity that Wonder Girl displayed on Can't Say when she switched the drum pattern going from Travis's verse to Dawn's verse. She's always telling a story with her production, and I really wanted to emulate that fully with this beat. Okay, so before we actually get into the beat switch, I want to let you know that I added this vinyl effect to the beat in order to make the melody seem even more vintage. And then I added this bird chirping atmosphere sound to add more texture. I added this dope transition effects. And I also sauced up the 808s with this sort of bass effects that I found in Lunch 77's Wonder Girl Show Screen Kit. Okay, now for the beat switch. So first I took an 8-bar chop from the beginning of the original melody and turned that into a unique sample. And then I reversed it so that the vibe of the second half of the beat would be totally different. I actually ended up keeping a lot of the drums the same, but one thing I changed was the 808. For the second half of the beat, I opted for a bass pluck instead. Then I changed the clap to a rim snare. Once I had the bounce pretty much the way I wanted for the second half, I went back and tweaked the bass just a little bit more. It took me a minute to get it where I really wanted, but I was thrilled with what I finally came up with. One more thing I did was create a higher octave unique sample of the reverse melody. I structured this throughout the arrangement of the second half of the beat to add some variation. Then, with a bit of mixing, the second half of my beat was complete. In conclusion, if you really want to make a good beat, a really dope, Don Toliver style beat, inspired by people like Chu Beats, Frank Dukes, and Wonder Girl, they just really dope, creative, psychedelic vibes. I really think the most important things to understand, and really the things to take away from this video, are to just make a really unique textured melody. It doesn't have to be anything that's, Mozart level of, harmony and melody and stuff like that. Just make something that has emotion to it. I think the melody making process that I went through in this video will demonstrate a really good way that you can do that. And I have a bunch of other tutorials that will teach you how, just the basics of music theory of how to make dark melodies, just without really overcomplicating the process, and even how to layer sounds on top of each other. But yeah, this is what I would do if, for some reason Don Toliver called me to the studio and was like, yo, I want you to make a beat for me right now, and I'm putting it on my album, but the hitch is that you have to use stock plugins only. For whatever reason that I would be in that situation, or, if Wonder Girl signed me one day, I'd be like, this is the kind of stuff that I'd, make for her, or for her artist or something like that. So, thank you so much for stopping by to watch this video. I love you so much. Thank you guys for the recent support. It's crazy. I think we're at like 250,000 views in the last 28 days or something close to that. We've gained like almost 1,500 subscribers in the last month. It's absolutely wild. I'm really trying to bring back this stock plugin series. You guys seem to love it so much last year, and now I'm really trying to revive it and have it be a consistent thing where I drop at least 1 or 2 episodes a month. So keep letting me know, like absolutely spam me in the comment section below and let me know what you guys want to see in the future for this series. Be sure to check out the description below, grab the centerfold drum kit, grab the 14 drum kit, and be sure to check out the Treehouse. We would love to have you there. It's a place where you can connect and get an even deeper understanding of beat making, learn, production engineering from me, which is really my strong suit when it comes to making beats, is just making the sound, scapes sound really powerful and really beautiful. If you just want to connect with the community of dope producers who are going to help you get better, definitely check that out. And yeah, just again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching my content. It's really crazy to just have you, you know, chilling here watching my stuff, man. Thank you so much. Oh, and like, please drop a like on this video. It's like, I mean, of course, it's like the typical YouTuber thing, like ask for engagement, comment, subscribe, all that shit. It's like, yeah, sure. Those are things, all the good things for the algorithm, right? But the important thing to know is, you know, like or dislike it. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if I'm moving in the right direction with the videos, with the series and stuff. If you like this video and if you want more stuff like this, those likes let me know that I'm moving in the right direction, or if I need to, you know, switch things up and go back to the drawing board. So, you know, of course for the algorithm, but more importantly, just let me know if I'm moving in the right direction. Drop a like on this video. But yeah, I'm gonna head out of here now. Stay happy, stay healthy, and always be creating. Just make sure it's dope content only. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Peace. No, and also subscribe. All right, bye.